Greetings, fellow stargazers, and welcome to the NightBlog. So, tonight we're going to be talking about Destiny 2. Really, Keebz is going to be talking about Destiny
also.
2. I'm going to be kind of I just got that.
Hey, thanks, man.
I just got it.
Well, I worked hard on it.
So, you'll be kind of talking about because I haven't had a chance
to play the beta.
One, I didn't pre-order it, so
okay.
You can't get into it before this weekend.
Right.
Two, just baby. We're trying to like do sleep stuff with
totally
her
understand.
and make sure she sleeps on time. So.
Well, the beta, okay, so the beta is essentially three things. It's the opening mission, Homecoming.
Okay.
Which, if you watched E3, you saw them walk through that.
Okay.
They walk through that mission where you run into Ikora, and there's a Zavala, and then you hit Cade 6. All three of them are kind of like part of that intro. Mm-hmm. And I'll say, for me, being like a huge Gearbox head, right off the bat, it felt way more inspired by like Borderlands. Because the NPCs are like part of your mission, and they kind of interact with you, and they like get in your face and like shoot some enemies for you, and they open the door, and then they do these kind of things. You interact with them, and you see them, and all of a sudden, Destiny has these like characters that before you identified, you're like, oh, I recognize that voice. To now, like, oh, you're part of the game. Like, you're important to my storyline here, and I actually care about you, and you are also interacting with me in this level. So right off the bat, like the narrative, the quality of the PvE was skyrocketed above anything Destiny had. Except, you know, Rise of Iron and Taken King, they really started to push it up there, but this is even a cut above that. So that's the first thing you do. The other one is a strike called the Spire. That's really good. I mean, but well, we'll get back to that.
Okay.
It's good as far as Destiny goes. The Spire is good, and then there's PvP. People have a lot of things to say about PvP, whether it is positive or negative. It's only 2 game modes, and they feel a lot faster. But things feel different.
Is this just for the beta, or is that only game modes are offering?
No, it's just for the beta. I feel like they're just showing off the new one, so they're kind of like, hey, what do you think? Also, how does this play? So, like I was saying, the narrative, so as you go through, like, you're kind of introduced to your character, you get an exotic weapon, everybody got like a different one, each class got a different one, and then you get to a point where they give you your special, and they're like, hey, try your new moves, you know, mess with your skill set, try some other things. So, like, the Titan... everybody has a third ability now. Okay. So circle, you hold down circle. You know, Titan's got this cool little drop shield, and the team's like, oh, cool, something to hide behind. The Warlock has this new AoE, so it does either a buff that makes everybody stronger, or it heals. Like, oh, cool, you're a team player, and then the Hunter dodges. So everybody else is like, hey, buddy, let me do this thing for you, and the Hunter's like, screw everybody else, I'm good, you know. I've been a Hunter since day one, well, since, you know, the alpha, and I love them. But I feel like I'm the only one not contributing, you know, when we get in a huge group setting, even though there wasn't really any of that in this one. It's only 3 players in a strike, but I just felt like I was the only one who couldn't actively be like, let me help. Instead, I was like, let me save myself, and you guys do your own thing. I hope that changes. It feels a little crippled almost, but like if you dodge correctly, it like reloads your gun automatically, or you get like a buff, and then you know that power buff or the healing for the Warlock, and then the Titan has a couple of variations to his he can like throw his shield and things like that. I gotta say, like, just playing that opener, it felt like a sequel, and that's what I was worried about. Is I felt like it was gonna feel like a DLC graphics bump from Destiny 1, but it felt brand new, and to me that was huge. So right off the bat, Homecoming is the best thing in the beta, I gotta say. And even the guys from Bungie are like, hey, this is months old. They're like, this is the stable build we gave you to test with, but this is not where we are. Because people are complaining now that Spire is like super gimped in favor of them focusing on PvP. And it was, you know, super simple. You know, it was go here, do this, go here, do this, go here, do this, fight a boss, you're done. You know, but that's essentially a strike in Destiny 1. I don't know if people were expecting something brand new, you know, in that, but it didn't bring anything like that to the table. So I enjoyed it. We explored. There was actually a really open area. We went and did things we probably shouldn't have done, but we were trying to break the game. I mean, that's what a beta's all about. So we were off in the middle of nowhere just fighting Minotaurs. But in the end, it was a pretty cool boss fight that the floor kept dropping out and you're in a new environment. And there was like things that he could do where he would start moving and like pushing you into things that would kill you. Like it was a cool boss fight. PvP is fine. It didn't feel much different. Except for the fact that you were kind of relying on the gear they gave you. So everybody was kind of on an even playing field. That was nice. But I know that won't last. So my gripe is with the weapon layout. So, you know how it used to be you have a primary, a secondary, and a heavy. Now you have a power, or you have a kinetic as your primary, you have an energy, and a power weapon. So technically I could have an auto rifle, a pulse rifle, and a shotgun. Like those are my 3 weapons instead of having just a heavy. Or I might have like a sniper as my heavy, as my power weapon, and then the other 2 I can have something like a handgun, you know, sidearm, and I don't know, another handgun. You know, it just depends. Yeah. Now you can have these crazy lineups, but the sidearm still sucks. So the grenade launcher, I decided to put that as like my main power weapon. And there are 2 things that I think should happen with the grenade launcher. Either you have really high impact and a big area of effect and low damage, or high damage, smaller area of effect and lower impact. It's none of those. It's just weak and useless. Like, I got it in the middle of a multiplayer match, which now, you know, I used to get like heavy weapon ammo and everybody could get it who was around. Yeah. Now 1 person gets it. And your heavy weapon, power weapon, could be like nothing great. And so I got the grenade launcher and I ran into a group of guys who were capturing a point, and I'm just like rattling them off. Not 1 person died. Some lost their shields, and they all just turned and like, oh, dead, you know? Like, I did nothing, and I remember I tried it a couple times, and then even in PvE, like, it did a little bit of crowd control, like, made some staggering enemies and everything, but it was never impactful. But the gun they did add that was really good is a submachine gun. Really high rate of fire auto rifle, short range, amazing. So good. Fusion rifles felt amazing, shotguns felt super strong. Snipers now, like, outline the enemy in red when you bring up your scope so you can see where everybody is in your peripheral. Yeah, so there's some good, like, quality of life additions, especially the UI is much snappier, much quicker. The skills menu now is separated into kind of like bubble trees instead of just, like, a list of circles. Now you have to choose between, like, 2 subsections of classes, and then you go off of those, instead of just, like, picking your nodes throughout the whole thing to change your agility and your armor and everything. In this, you just choose through those 2 and then kind of jump between a couple options. So all of that is very good. Now, the graphics are great. And I know I'm on a pro now at this point, which I never expected to be, but I took advantage of GameStop. Thanks, GameStop. And now I have a pro and a 4K TV, which I never expected to have, but I sold a bunch of my electronics to go buy a TCL, which is like, there's like Vizio, which is at the bottom of the chain, and then TCL's like, nah, we can do worse, and then right below it. So I got one of those, and it's great, you know. I just wanted entry-level 4K so I could see what the Pro could really do. And so now playing Destiny 2, I just kept taking screenshots. I was like, oh, it's beautiful, no one's ever seen this before, and I know there's people playing on better TVs than me somewhere, but it was just mind-blowing how good it looked, and the weather effects and particle and the dynamic lighting and everything. So good. So my overall opinion is, it feels like a sequel. It definitely feels better. There's definitely some improvements they need to make. But overall, like, it was stable. The netcode felt right. The biggest gripe I'm seeing, and I totally agree on, like, the subreddit and everything, powers and grenades and everything take way too long to cool down. Like, there are some matches where you'll play online and some people won't even get their special throughout the entire match. It's that slow. Do you remember Trickle? There was the kind of the debuff that would happen. So modifiers, when you played like a Nightfall every week or a different type of hard mode mission, you'd get a modifier on you. So one of them was Trickle, and it was your powers would come back very slowly. Now it feels like Trickle is just part of the game, instead of it being like this is gonna be harder. Now it's just like, we decided to screw you over. I thought it was gonna be like, hey, it's really slow, now here's this awesome set of gear so you can see how much it affects your player, you know, and it's gonna, but no, they didn't really do any of that. So that felt really almost annoying, like to the point where you just felt like you were playing a shooter without powers, you know? So I hope that they fix that too. But other than those like small issues I have with some gun balancing and a couple things with the powers here and there, like, it's really solid. And for being an old build, I'm super confident that when it comes out, we're gonna hit the ground running. And I know your big question to me was, what about the end game? And I wish I knew. I wish they even had some sort of like glimpse into what it's going to look like. Like, are they going to say, oh, no more of the grindy where you get to the top level, but getting to the top light is where you're going to spend another 4 weeks before you can even touch the raid, you know, for, I call us, you know, casual hardcore gamers, because we play as hardcore as we can, you know, but we're as casual hour-wise, you know. So as the casual hardcores, I feel like if it's the same as it was before, we're still going to be a month behind the full-on hardcore players. But I feel like this one might alleviate some of that, but I don't know, because you start at the top level and there's no light level type of thing, so I don't know if they're going to do the infusion route or what they're going to do to make it so you can jump up faster. Or how that light level's even going to work. You know, I don't know. there's so many changes they could make that everyone's welcome to because we're not carrying over our characters. So it's kind of like, hey, dealer's choice.
Now, when you're not carrying over their level system, but can you carry over like just the look of him?
You know, that's the thing that they've talked about is maybe the aesthetic, actual physical character, but none of the armor, none of the guns, none of which would be okay with me. Whatever. I understand that it's got to be a new game, otherwise. And they kind of do a good job with that by introducing the new enemy, who's very good. Gaul is very cool looking. He looks like a big Halo grunt, but he's a good character, and the Red Army is very cool, and he takes your light away. And then it is this whole dramatic thing where he like takes away your ghost and knocks you down, and then it felt good. It was very cool.
Let's play it this weekend.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan. I loved it. I played it as much as because I burned myself out on the Destiny 1 beta. I'm trying to just take a step back. I really enjoyed it. I played a lot of PvP, and now I'm just like, okay, I got to do something else. It just so I don't play this too much. But I'll play with you if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll have time this weekend.
So go get that beta.
I will. I'll download it tonight.
PlayStation Beta, Destiny 2, or come from down under. Destiny.
I don't know where we're going with this now.
If you liked it, subscribe it.
I know I didn't have much to add to this.
If you subscribed it, like it. No, wait. What? Now you give me your opinion on. What's that? You know what? You know that old saying is the bird craps on the other side of the building anyway. So. Is that a saying?
It is now.
I want to get it on either a business card or a Twitter bio.
The bird craps on the other side of the building anyway.
Yeah, so
let them crap here.
I feel like there is some sort of life lesson that can be applied there.
Probably.
If we let it boil long enough.
Bird craps on the other side of the building. Dad, I don't know what you're talking about. Neither do I, but it's a good lesson.
Dad, I just failed out of college. Well, the bird craps at the other end of the building, so.
Where are we going? Bird crap.